on today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Black Series Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader. And here we have him standing straight out of the box without any pose or accessories. And first impressions, I think this figure is an improvement from the previous Darth Vaders that we have gotten so far. Mind that this is the Empire Strikes version of him, and we'll see how accurate it is to that movie. One thing that I do notice is that I don't like the size of this cape. I think it is a bit too oversized for him. And we'll see how that works in a bit. So now let's get into the accessories. Accessory-wise, he comes with his lightsaber, because what would Darth Vader be without it? So let's take a closer look at that. I always like the design of this because it reminds me of Anakin's lightsaber from episode 2. As you can see, it's a nice silver color with some black paint applications. But on the other side, let me just show you, there's a little gold button, or I don't know what that is there, but it's a nice little addition. I like the color of the blade that they went with, because sometimes it can be a bit more of a pinkish color, but this is a nice blazing red. I really like it. And if you're wondering, you can actually pull the blade out of the hilt, and you can actually use this to clip it onto his belt. I'll show you that in a second. So now let's get into the details of the figure. Starting from top to bottom. Let's start with the helmet first. As you can see, the lenses are black because it's the Empire Strikes Back version. In Rogue One, of course, they were red. And I think during the trilogy, the mouthpiece changes a bit. I'm not totally sure how it changes, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate to this particular movie. Now let's get into this cape, because see this cape is just way too big in my opinion. Even for like a Batman figure, this would be way too big. So what you could do is actually just kind of fold it back if you want to have this kind of look, where you can still see his whole body, or you can go for a kind of a engulfed by his cape look. But this looks really weird, and this just does not work at all. So I mean, if you want, you could maybe take a pair of scissors and cut it in a line along here, and maybe it would shorten it up a bit. But this is way too big. It's all right for what it is, but I would not have minded a different one. And another thing is that the cape in the movies actually holds together via a chain right here. But I'm sure that, you know, they didn't want to do that here because it would have been too small plastic piece. Maybe it would have broken or something. This is totally fine. And one thing that I noticed is that this rope part here, of course, given that this is Empire Strikes Back, it's tucked below the pauldron piece, and in Rogue One and New Hope it goes over the pauldron. It's also very nice. The buttons here also do vary from movie to movie, but this seems to be Empire Strikes Back accurate. Not sure about these buttons on the belt here, but they are painted nicely, as you can see. On his back you can't really see much, just his belt. Arms are really nice. They do give off a kind of a rubber or silicone suit type look, and then they do hide the articulation quite well. You can't really see it, even though it is there. Here we have his crotch guard piece, I guess. From the back, his buttocks. His shin guards and feet. Painted quite nicely. So now let's get into the articulation. Mind that this is my personal copy of the figure, so I might be a bit safer with it. One thing that I forgot to mention you during the details part is that you can take the lightsaber hilt. As you can see, there's a little hook here, and you can just put it on there if you want it just kind of resting or hanging there. Okay, now articulation-wise, his helmet head is on a ball joint. It can, well, it doesn't seem to rotate all the way around because the down part of the helmet seems to hinder it a bit, so I don't want to force it. But I'm pretty sure it would, but I just don't want to force it. It seems like it would break or something. It can look down this much, which for a Vader, it's not too bad. He doesn't need Spider-Man-like articulation. He can move his head up just a tiny bit, not too much. So it's, but he can sort of move it side to side as well. His arms do not go out too much. His shoulder pads do hinder it quite a lot. It only goes out this much. He has a single jointed arm, which goes past 90. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, pretty good for a Vader figure. His hands, his left hand has a horizontal hinge. Goes side to side. And his right hand also horizontal hinge. Goes side to side this much. His torso is on a ball joint. Can move back this much. Forward, basically nothing. Yeah, just nothing. He can move a little bit side to side. His legs on a ball joint, goes out this much, pretty good. Goes back nothing because this part hinders it. He does have double jointed knees, which for Vader, that's really good. Goes out this much. His feet are on a pivot, so we can move this much back quite a lot. It's really good. Can also move side to side. All right, I think we went over everything. Now let's get over size and comparisons. Sorry, forgot to mention, his foot does go out this much. Moving on to size and comparisons, Darth Vader seems to be standing at approximately 17 centimeters on the top of his head, which translates to 6.6 inches in height. Comparison-wise, here we have him standing next to the Star Wars The Black Series, Mandalorian, Imperial Stormtrooper. This seems to be movie accurate, really. He's kind of slightly towering over him. And here we have him standing next to the Disney Store exclusive Diamond Select Boba Fett. Mind that Boba Fett is actually a 7-inch scale figure, so that's why he's taller than Darth Vader. And here we have him standing next to a can of Coca-Cola, just for funsies. My final thoughts on the figure. I think this is a great Darth Vader figure to have in your Star Wars collection if you want something in the 6-inch scale mark. I think every sculpt is an improvement all the way around from the previous ones that we have gotten. Can't think of any other accessories that he should have come with. Maybe just an alternative hand with a closed fist, but maybe given that this is a $20 to $30 figure, maybe that would have been pushing it too far. My only real problem is with the cape. As I mentioned before, I think it's too large for him and it drips weirdly on his body. But that's it really. That was my review on the new Black Series Darth Vader. If you liked the figure, consider leaving a like, or if you didn't like the video, consider leaving a dislike. It's an option for it as well. If you want to see more figure reviews on my channel, consider subscribing. It was me, the collector, and I'll see you later.